What you are about to hear could save your life or the life of someone sitting next to you right now. That is not an exaggeration. Please stay until the end. Imagine this. You are having dinner with your family, when your spouse suddenly starts speaking strangely. The words come out slurred. A sentence trails off. The left side of the face looks slightly uneven for a moment. Then, a few minutes later, everything seems fine again. Most people in that moment think it was nothing. Fatigue, maybe. And that decision, to wait and see, is sometimes the last chance that ever gets missed. Here is the single most important fact about ischemic stroke. From the moment symptoms begin, approximately 1.9 million brain cells die every single minute. Within 1 hour of a blockage, around 120 million neurons are gone. And that damage is permanent. This is why time is not just important in stroke care. Time is the treatment. The recognized treatment window for ischemic stroke is 4.5 hours from symptom onset. Within that window, a clot-dissolving drug called TPA can be administered intravenously to restore blood flow. Clinical research shows that patients treated within the first 60 minutes, the true golden hour, had 40% higher odds of achieving excellent functional recovery at 90 days, compared to those treated later. Treatment within 3 hours offers the strongest benefit with the lowest risk. After 4.5 hours, intravenous thrombolysis is no longer safely applicable. The difference of 30 minutes in calling emergency services can determine whether a person walks out of the hospital or requires lifelong care. The warning signs can be remembered using the BE-FAST system, which stands for balance loss, eye vision changes, face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, and time to call emergency services immediately. The defining characteristic of all these symptoms is that they appear suddenly. Gradual onset over days or weeks is not the pattern of stroke. What you are looking for is a distinct moment when something changed without warning. The speech symptoms deserve special attention because they are frequently underestimated. When a stroke affects the language centers of the brain, specifically the areas responsible for producing and understanding speech, the person may suddenly be unable to find words they have known their entire lives, may produce words that are not what they intended to say, may speak in slurred or garbled sounds, or may be unable to understand what is being said to them. These symptoms can be frightening and confusing for the person experiencing them. They may downplay it or try to explain it away. Perhaps the most dangerous misunderstanding is the belief that symptoms, which come and go on their own, do not require emergency care. This pattern is called a transient ischemic attack, or TIA, and it occurs when a clot briefly blocks blood flow before dissolving on its own. The symptoms resolve and the person feels fine. But the American Stroke Association reports that nearly 1 in 5 people who experience a TIA will have a major stroke within 90 days. Long-term data shows a 12.8% stroke risk within 5 years, and 19.8% within 10 years following a TIA. A TIA is the brain's final warning. Treating it as if it resolved itself is one of the most dangerous mistakes in medicine. When stroke symptoms appear, the correct response is straightforward. Call emergency services immediately and note the exact time symptoms began. This single piece of information determines which treatments are available. Lay the person down comfortably with the head turned slightly to the side to prevent airway obstruction in case of vomiting. Do not give food, water, or medication. Swallowing function may be impaired, creating serious aspiration risk. Do not massage the limbs. Do not perform any folk remedy involving pricking the fingers or toes. These actions delay emergency care and can cause direct harm. Use ambulance transport, not a private vehicle. Emergency responders can begin assessment during transport and connect directly to specialized stroke centers. Now for prevention, because the most powerful thing about stroke is that the majority of cases are preventable. Stroke does not usually arrive without warning. It is the endpoint of years of gradual vascular damage, and that process can be slowed or stopped. High blood pressure is the single most important modifiable risk factor for stroke. Research shows that reducing systolic blood pressure by just 10 mmHg lowers stroke risk by approximately 27%. The most direct dietary intervention is sodium reduction. International Stroke Prevention Guidelines recommend keeping daily sodium intake below 2000 milligrams, which is less than 1 teaspoon of salt. Consuming less soup broth, choosing low-sodium condiments, and avoiding processed and packaged foods are the most practical ways to achieve this. Diabetes significantly amplifies stroke risk. Among patients who have already had a stroke, having diabetes increases the rate of recurrence by 1.85 times. Choosing lower glycemic index foods, replacing refined white rice and bread with whole grains, and managing portion sizes, all directly support blood sugar stability and reduce vascular damage over time. For vascular protection, potassium-rich foods deserve consistent emphasis. A large prospective study found that women with the highest potassium intake had a 12% lower rate of total stroke and a 16% lower rate of ischemic stroke specifically. Bananas, sweet potatoes, spinach, tofu, and avocado are among the highest potassium food sources, including spinach in a daily soup or a banana as a regular snack provides meaningful, consistent intake. Omega-3 fatty acids from fatty fish have demonstrated modest but consistent blood pressure lowering effects, with research finding that approximately 3 grams of omega-3 daily produced meaningful reductions in blood pressure. Eating fatty fish such as mackerel or sardines 2 to 3 times weekly delivers this benefit through food rather than supplements. Those on blood thinners should consult their physician before adding high-dose omega-3 supplements, as high doses may increase bleeding risk. Smoking increases stroke risk by 2 to 4 times through direct damage to blood vessel walls and promotion of clot formation. Even people who gain weight after quitting smoking face lower cardiovascular risk than those who continue smoking. Do not let concern about weight gain delay stopping. Atrial fibrillation, an irregular heart rhythm, carries a 5-fold increased stroke risk compared to people without it. If you notice your heart beating irregularly or experiencing unexplained palpitations repeatedly, cardiology evaluation is not optional. It is urgent. The 7-day plan is this. Days 1 and 2, check your blood pressure. Measure it at home after 5 minutes of rest each morning. If systolic pressure is consistently above 130, speak to your doctor this week. Days 3 and 4, reduce soup broth to half portions. Add 1 serving of fatty fish, and include spinach or tofu in a daily meal. Days 5 and 6, walk briskly for 30 minutes after dinner. Swing your arms actively. Days 7 and beyond, if you smoke, make a concrete quit date. If you drink heavily, set a specific reduction target. One final summary. Sudden slurred speech, sudden inability to find words, sudden arm weakness, sudden facial drooping, sudden vision loss, sudden severe headache. Any of these, even if they resolve on their own, means call emergency services immediately, note the time, and do not drive yourself. These 4 actions, and only these 4, define the difference between full recovery and permanent disability in the hours when it matters most. Share this video with the people you love. It may be the most important thing you do today.